What's up guys, Houndish here, and today it's time for the final weekly reset of Act 1 of Echoes. And of course it's Tuesday, July the 9th, so on top of this being the final week for Act 1, of course Bungie have revealed a bunch of information about the upcoming content for episodes this week, so we'll do a brief rundown of that, but then we'll talk about other content in the game this week. As always, we'll jump in and take a look at the vendors, like the Eververse store, and some of the key rewards that'll be featured this week. On top of that, there are a couple of updates from Bungie, and some potential Act 2 prep, which might be worth keeping in mind as well. So, as always guys, I hope you enjoyed the video today and find it useful. If you do, get subscribed to the channel and I'll keep you posted with more Destiny content, but without further delay, let's get into it. And first up in terms of the game this week, of course, we do have the second week of Iron Banner, so this is now a 2-week event, and in this second week, Tribute will be the key game mode, so it's interesting that Bungie have mixed it up in that way, but otherwise, if you're working on getting triumphs, armor, weapons, whatever it may be, we have a final few days before the Iron Banner goes away at the next weekly reset. Otherwise, given the conversation about Act 2 for Echoes, a lot of players have started considering whether there's some prep that can be done for things like the new season pass ranks that'll unlock, the artifact, and even the new weapons. And we don't have a ton of information about what we might be able to do here, but some players are choosing to hold on to Echo Engrams this week, as there's a possibility that some of the new weapons introduced at the next reset could potentially drop from them. So if you've got everything you want, there's nothing wrong with trying to stash a few weapon engrams and things like that, as there is that possibility that they'll be able to drop the new stuff when they're introduced into the pool at reset. Otherwise though, some players are also holding on to their completed seasonal challenges until next week, as obviously if you've hit rank 100 on the season pass, we can't earn any more progress at the moment, but it seems pretty likely that progress will be added if we claim those after next week's reset, when there are some additional ranks and artifact perks and things like that. So no absolute guarantees as to what will happen, but like I say, if you're already done unlocking rewards and ranks and things like that at this precise moment, it might be worth a try. Next up today though, of course, we got the Act 2 preview for Episode 1, and to sort of summarize what Bungie spoke about as briefly as possible, to be honest right here, they did say that moving on in Act 2, they plan to actually drop all of the story steps, or the story pieces that are typically weekly, at once. So instead of us having to wait 3 weeks, all 3 of the kind of different steps, I suppose, will be available off the bat, and it'll be the same during Act 3. And they're kind of looking at planning on doing that for a bunch of the episode content moving forward. So it kind of removes that time gating component, but of course there will still be that sort of limited amount of story per act, and ultimately that will culminate in Act 3. So that's one of the changes that we've learned about. Otherwise, they did show some gameplay of the new Echoes battlegrounds that we're getting access to. They also teased a couple of things like teleporting wyvern bosses. And as you can see right here, they actually have that sort of updated Nessus aesthetic that we've seen a couple of times in the Act 1 content. If anything, that's one of my favorite things that I'm seeing so far. Otherwise, this looks like it'll be a fairly typical battleground experience, but thematically and sort of how the actual areas look, I think mainly they look pretty cool. They also said that we'll get 2 of the new battlegrounds in the first week, and then in the second week of Act 2, they'll drop the third battleground. So there'll be a little bit of kind of rollout for these battlegrounds, but they also indicated that there'll be a sort of story component inside of them as well. So kind of interested to check that out. It's definitely seasonal style content. Most of us probably anticipated that, but give us your thoughts about it down below. And at the same time, as we can see right here, Bungie actually show off some of the new weapons. So we're seeing the Solar Rocket sidearm, the Aberrant Action. This will become available next week in the game. This particular role actually has Heal Clip as well as Incandescent, which obviously is going to be pretty juicy. We spoke about the perk rolls for these weapons in a video recently, so you can always check those out in more detail. But otherwise, the Corrasion Heavy Burst Arc Pulse Rifle will also become available. That's from the new set, and we'll get the reprised Perfect Paradox during Act 2 as well. So looking forward to those, and once again, I do have a video with the perk rolls for them if you want to check it out. During the live stream though, they also revealed the new artifact mods that we'll get access to during Act 2. So the first one is Anti-Barrier Sniper Rifle, which will be useful to have potentially right there. Additionally though, there's authorized mod Scavenger, and the energy cost of Scavenger mods is significantly discounted. Additionally, we get Incendiary Rifle rounds, and Solar Sniper Rifle precision hits will scorch targets, so that could be an interesting one. There is actually a couple of sniper-focused bonuses, of course. There's also Solar Fulmination, and your ignitions do increased damage in an increased radius. I think that one's come back from a previous season. Then finally, there is Sniper's Meditation, and Sniper Rifle hits grant stacking Sniper Rifle damage, stability, and reload bonuses for a short time, and Heavy Ammo Sniper Rifle hits count as more than once. So those are the updated, or the update, should I say, to the artifact that we're going to see as part of Act 2. Let us know what you think about it down below. They also said in the stream there are a few buffs that they're ready to sort of tease. So they say the Tex Mechanica scout rifles will be getting a PvE buff of around 30%, so that's going to make them pretty juicy, I think. Also for Ariana's Vow, they said there'll be a 67% damage buff against barrier shields, so I think that's much needed for Ariana's, and also they're reducing sniper flinch in PvE, which I think broadly players are going to welcome. So a couple of little sandbox previews, although they said later on we will get more details about the sandbox tune-in that we're going to see, and I think that will drop in the mid-season update. So something to look forward to there. Otherwise though, they additionally showed off the Solstice armor, because that's going to be dropping during Act 2 as well. So we get a look at those right there. We can see each of the sets for the different classes. I never personally feel super excited by Solstice armor these days. I guess it looks alright, but give us your thoughts about it down below. Currently, I'm rocking the raid armor primarily, but these are new sets that we'll get access to when Solstice drops. I think that's actually going to drop sometime in early August. I can't remember the date off the top of my head, but it's another thing that will happen during Act 2, kind of tide us over as we approach that conclusion with Act 3. Otherwise though, there are a couple of other minor details that the devs sort of discuss in the live stream, but those are the sort of bulkier bits of news that we actually got from the reveal today. So once again, I'm primarily looking forward to actually getting to check it out in game. Most of the stuff is sort of along the lines of what we expected it to be, but nonetheless, I do think it's a positive generally to get a bit of a preview of what Bungie have coming. So give us your thoughts about it in the comment section. Up next though, as we finally get into the game right here, let's take a look at the Eververse store for the week. I don't have enough silver for this Kvostov ornament that makes it look more like the original version, which is unfortunate, I suppose. But let's focus on the bright dust things right here. Initially, we have the Chomping Dance legendary emote, which is available for 700 bright dust this week. A rather curious one right there. Additionally though, we've got the Noble Burden ornament on the front page for bright dust right here. This is a Dead Man's Tail ornament, of course, for 1250 bright dust. Certainly a nice one. And then there is the Signal Intercept Transmat effect, available for 450 bright dust on the front page. We'll preview that one again. Additionally though, for the shaders, we've got the Coppertone Patina. Shaders, as always, are 300 bright dust. That looks surprisingly alright with this armor. And then we've got the Shifting Crossphase, which is a new one for Echoes right here. So kind of golden, yellowy, orange colors going on. Let us know what you think about that. But to the main bright dust section in the store right here, we've got the Samba Dance legendary emote, which is available for 700 bright dust. So you can add that to collections this week if you feel like it. Additionally though, there is the Watching You rare emote available as well. And that one is 400 bright dust. And then we've got the Kit Shell exotic ghost for 2850 bright dust from back in Season of Defiance. Additionally though, there is the Grass Guzzler available for 2500 bright dust, which is certainly a curious looking thing. It's almost like parts of Trevor attached to a sparrow. Also though, we've got the Shining Cabriolet ship in the store right here. If you're feeling somewhat retro, that one's up for 2000 bright dust. And then the Necrosis ornament for the Recluse is once again available for 700 bright dust. So perhaps if you missed out on it previously in the store, you can viced it up a little bit this week. But then we've got the Time Loss Projection available for 1500 bright dust in the main bright dust section. And then for the second page of shaders, we've got Lilac Bombast. Once again, all of these are 300 bright dust. There's also the Deep Sea Jaunt available this week. And then we get the Chiton Slate available in the store as well, which actually could be nice if I didn't have mismatched legs. Still waiting for those legs from the raid. There's also the Rustberry shader available in the store as well. But then finally, we've got the Illicit Transmat effects available for 450 bright dust. We'll preview that one once again. There is also the Signal Intercept. That's the same one we had on the front page, isn't it? And finally, the Resurrected Shadow is additionally available in the store. So let us know anything you plan to pick up from the store this week down in the comment section. Then for a very quick visit to Banshee in the tower for the featured weapons at the moment, we've got the Chrysora Mellow auto rifle with Outlaw and Harmony. There's also the Annual Skate, which has got Triple Tap and Dragonfly. Enigma's Draw with Full Auto and Demolitionist that just need to take Full Auto away at this point. And then we've got the Soul Survivor with Rapid Hit and Firing Line. And finally the Honor's Edge right here, which has got Energy Transfer and Shattering Blade. But of course, the weapons and rolls will change throughout the course of the week. Finally though, let's have a quick visit to Shader 1 down here in the annex, otherwise you might get lonely, of course. We've got a mixture of different armor pieces and class items available, so if you're interested in any of these, definitely pay a visit this week. But for the featured shaders, we've got Genotype Null 0 available. We're going to get into that inability to preview things, which keeps happening, a bug at the moment, but that's available for 10,000 Glimmer. We'll try Flowers of Io, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to load unless I restart my game or something wild. But finally, there is also New Monarchy Diamonds. I do apologize that we can't preview them, but of course, if you fancy picking any of those up, you can visit and grab them this week. Next up though, for some final bits to mention here, the Nightfall this week is the Disgraced. But additionally, we have Vox Obscura for the featured exotic mission, so if you need to pick up the Dead Messenger, work on any of the crafting options, that's available this reset. And also, the Touch of Malice, which is the Kingsfall exotic weapon, will be completely farmable from Kingsfall this week, alongside the Legendary Loot Pool, as that is the featured raid. On top of that though, we've got the Grasp of Avarice featured this reset as well. And our final mention is for the Lost Sector rotation this week. For today, we've got Concealed Void on Europa as the featured Lost Sector, and on top of exotic engrams having a chance to drop on solo completions. The Legendary Loot Pool consists of the Crux Termination, Nox Perennial, PSI Hematic, and the Rossarago. Then for July 10th, we'll see the Conflux on Nessers, which can drop the Combined Action, Last Foray, Parabellum, and the Old Sterling. Then we'll move over to Thrillodrome on Neomuna for July 11th, which can drop the Geodetic, Glissando, Heliocentric, and the Mikado. From there, that weapon pool will rotate over 3 days, but July 12th will be Hydroponics Delta, July 13th will move to the Cosmodrome with Vel's Labyrinth, with the July 14th being Exodus Garden 2A, and then on the 15th we'll get the Broken Deep in the Pale Heart, before we finally hit another weekly reset. So that is the Lost Sector rotation, and good luck if you are farming for anything from there this week. But otherwise, for today, I think we've just about covered everything we can for the moment, but I'll be keeping you up to date with Bungie's various updates, news, and anything important as we approach Act 2 of Echoes, so keep it locked and loaded here on the channel. But if you found the video useful today, a rating below very much helps us out, and let us know in the comment section any stuff that you plan to get done this reset. But otherwise, cheers for tuning in, and I will catch you guys very soon.